Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another gigantic aircraft, which you might recognise from Thunderbirds, because this is the Fireflash Atomic Airliner, which is this lovely thing all the way over here. So this, well, I have vague memories of this. I'm not sure if it's the actual correct aircraft or not, but I believe there was an episode, or maybe a feature-length episode, where it basically lost its engines and was cruising along. They need to do a rescue operation to try and slow it down, and we'll make sure it can land safely. It might have been this one, I'm not too sure. No, it is from Thunderbirds. Yes, it's a gigantic ship. It's got plenty of places for your passengers to come board on here, and we'll go across on an adventure with you. Our flight seat to actually fly around is at the very rear of this thing, on the tail, and it comes with a couple moving parts in the form of the thrusters at the back there, and the wheels down there. We'll see them in just a moment. But first of all, pressing F10, find this in spawn menu. The Fireflash Atomic Airliner is 4,030 large blocks, using a couple of the DLC packs. We see up here that it's from several episodes of Thunderbirds, most notably Trapped in the Sky, and it has a landing gear and an auto-alignment script, so you can cruise along, and the ship will automatically align itself to the planet you're on, which makes it very comfy to fly around. So giving this thing a thumbs up, moving around towards the very front, it looks like the sun is starting to set in the background, so I'm going to have to pull that around. There we go, that'll have to do. And we'll start over here, have a brief look around the outside, have a tour of the interior, which is a very big and expansive interior. Then we'll go fly around, and that'll be that. So for the very front of the Fireflash Atomic Airliner, this is what we get, where right over here what we've got is a black tip that leads across on some dark blue and light blue steel blocks. Moving all the way across, we've got some aeroplane thrusters, which is the only form of thrusters that appear on this ship, so are only good for being on a planet. And as we move across, we've got a bunch of windows on here for your passengers to view outside, for your crew members to actually view outside. And down to here, this doorway is going to lead into your medical bay, that'll eventually lead on to the engineering section, where you can manually lift up and down and close up the hatch for this landing leg. Continuing across, here we go, we've got a first fin up and above, then we see the start of our layer blocks, with a doorway right up there, which is basically your emergency fire escape for all your passengers, for all your crew members to jump out of in an emergency. Continuing all the way along, lots and lots of windows. That's where I'm standing next to a doorway to get inside to the main passenger area. And all the way over here, they've got like a small little crew quarters. Not really sure what this area actually is, but it's got a bunch of tables, it's got kitchen blocks and whatnot, but it is a dead end that leads nowhere, just on the side wing. Looking down at it, there it is, with one on the opposite side. Continuing along, past this little section, we see more aeroplane thrusters keep us off the ground, and here's our rear section that will fold all the way up when we switch it to flight mode. So this is done via the hinge right up here, comes all the way down onto this section, where we've got then some wheels to land yourself down on, with some white blinking lights and a red light on this side. On the opposite, that red light will be green light to differentiate your left from right, but no, that's how we land down onto the ground. We run towards the very back, over to here, not too much to talk about on this section, which has simply got another blinking white light. Down onto this section, more aeroplane thrusters, and onto the back of the wings right over here, and they've got some parachute hatches just for an emergency. Moving up, in fact we'll actually look on this section first of all, before we move up and look down. Yes, over on this part, that's where we're going to be flying this thing around from. We get inside just by going down and across to the passenger area. Then we've got more air blocks up there, turning on my light, moving up, and around, turning on my light once again. And there we are, up in these little pods. Here I've got some heat vents, around towards the back of it. And there we are, some more aeroplane thrusters with some passengers in front of it. And we come all the way up and look down. And there we go, so we can see 4 more aeroplane thrusters in the middle there. We see how the pods have been very much raised up and away from the body. Over in this section, fantastic use of the catwalk just coming across with small leather blocks and some nice use of the armor panels, creating a circular pattern on both sides. But moving across, there's a window blocks for the other little living quarter type section, which we'll see in just moments. All the way across, past where I'm standing, this whole section right here is where all your passengers can be sitting down in their lovely little seats. And there's pins towards the front, and there is the very front with the black tip. Moving all the way down underneath this thing, here we are. So there's our aeroplane thrusters help keep us off the ground. Into this section, here's your landing legs, pulled all the way up, then close up on this section. Take a look at that when we actually lift this up. Then moving across, more aeroplane thrusters, some more great use of the layer blocks, more aeroplane thrusters, but this time it's the flat aeroplane thrusters. And then towards the back there, more standard aeroplane thrusters, and we see the bottom of our thruster pods and the top. And there we go, so that's a brief look around the outside. of the Fireflash Atomic Airliner, and it's bloody fantastic with how it's been set up, and as you can see compared to my character, just jetpacking away, it is bloody massive compared to the character. But now what I'm going to do now is come in through this doorway where I was standing right next to. And actually, I suppose we'll come in this section right here, because that is going to be the passenger doorway to actually board on. Down to here is going to be your crew members section, so opening up this, and will instantly take us to our medical bay right here. Closing out the door behind me, look on this section. There on that side, doorway for the opposite side. But turning around here, we've got steps to go all the way up. Now we'll lead to the passenger bay. Over here, we sit down, have a little discussion, get some plain cola. And through here, here's your medical bay, and there's a way to actually go further inside. So here's your medical bay block to recharge yourself, change your outfit, little desk to sit on, opening up this doorway. Now leads to our engineering bay, we won't go there just yet. We'll come around this corner, open up this, and here we are. We can now serve your customers, and we'll serve your staff members, and all of that. And into there's your little scanning machine, windows appear outside. But now we can come into this section, because this is a dead end. But we also have buttons to actually control the legs, which we'll do in just a second. Yes, this is all there is in this section. I don't want to go too far, but we can jetpack all the way up and come up to this little button panel right here. There's an actual proper doorway to come through this section, which we will see in just a moment. I know we keep saying that, but we will. Yes, I can press that one. Close up the doors, press it to open it, or we can press that one to lift up the leg. There we are, that pulls all the way up. Now we can actually press that one and properly close ourselves inside. With the free camera coming all the way down. There we are. Pressing it again. Press that one. Underneath it opens up. Then press that one, and down comes the legs. Very simple stuff, and very nice stuff. Now I'm going to come back through that area, so down to here, into this doorway, over here, up these steps, and well, here we are. So this is going to be where your passengers are going to be sitting, and yes, you saw that correctly, the toilet is right there, so everybody can see you doing your business, or well, people on this side can see you doing your business. But if you don't want to see people on the toilet, you can perhaps sit on this side and view people having a shower. Sit on here, wait for you to get to your destination, and then, well, exit the aircraft. Go walk past this section. We've got our left and right. On this side, this will be the doorway that comes to the hangar bay, so into this section, here we are once again to control that. But we don't need to worry about that, that's only for an emergency, because we can control it from the actual pilot seat if you want to do that. But now on the side here, here's your side doorways, which is basically going to be your fire escape, or maybe for the airport to push across that thingy, forgotten what it's called, actually go up to the airport and board onto the ship properly. Now we can close that, and continue along through here. So let's come in this section, no doorway on this section. Then we come over this part, which is another little passenger quarters for them to sit on and enjoy the ride. Look around here, there's a clock showing the time of day. Onto this side, nothing much going on in here. We do have a doorway on this side going to that engineering bay, but we do have the other doorway to be able to get out and of course board onto the airport. Back through here. All the way through. I suppose what I could do is just sit on this chair, and there we are. I suppose it would be a lot better filling this up with a bunch of engineers, but no, I don't think the game can actually handle that many engineers spawned in through the replay tool. Anyway, round here, a doorway to open up. Here we are. So this is the rear section where your crew are going to be preparing the food for the passengers for their long voyages. And while we've still got a few more ways to go. On the left and right hand side, that's going to take us all the way up to the area that we can actually fly this thing around. On these side sections, we now come all the way down, around into these sections that I mentioned earlier, which is more like a little crew kitchen bay. Planter on this side, tables to eat your food. Into this section, here's your counters, and of course the kitchen block. Another planter. We look up and around. It does look really nice to actually be able to see the bridge from over here. That's all there is in this section. And there we are with that. Onto the opposite side, up, down, and around. There we are. And once again, it is a dead end. So all we've got to do now is come up through this section, through here. No doorways on the side, so we don't have to deviate from the path. And I'll eventually join around into this section. Round to here, that'll take us back to where we just were. And then we've got a shower, got a toilet. Through this section, programmable block, which is going to be your alignment script. Then into here, here is your captain's quarters. We've got yourself a bed, and then we've got a cargo container store, a few bits and bobs inside. Anyway, on to this part, all the way up. Ladder will take us all the way up to the main bridge. Here we go. And this is how we're going to be flying it around. Looking behind and up. That's all we got. We do have a little terminal over here to play around with a few bits and pieces. And of course, do roleplay if you're into that. But as for these seats, this one has nothing going on with it. This one has all the controls. So hopping in this first-person view, and this is all we can see. Anyway, bring up the HUD. These are the controls we get. We've got a thruster override to move it up, and of course to turn it down, but we don't want to do that just yet. We lift it off the ground otherwise we will damage the rear legs. We've got number 4 for your parachutes to manually open and close in an emergency. We've got then number 5 to actually control all the moving parts on this ship. So with the free camera, we're going to look at it like so. We're going to press number 5. There we are, the wheels move up, that closes up, and on the back sections, they fold all the way up into a not quite flush position. There we are. Now we're ready to actually fly this thing around and take off and go on a long adventure. Anyway, number 6 and number 7 for your wheel friction, but you don't really need to touch that. Then number 8 and number 9 for your alignment script, where pressing number 8 is going to turn on, and you'll automatically align to the planets, and number 9 is going to be do turn off. On tab number 2, you've got parachutes to close them up if you want to do that. We've got nothing else on any other tabs, just how to fly this thing around. So moving up, we're going to turn that off. There we are, we can actually see if it's on and off by that screen right there, so turning it on, turning it off. Yes, we're going to fly this thing around. We're not actually going to do a proper thrust test because this thing is going to be very, very hard to maneuver around. It's more for show than it is to, well, use in survival mode or in combat. No, this is it, flying around, and this is it in a first-person view. Of course, it would be a lot better having those mods in there that actually make it fly around like a proper ship, so when you turn this thing around, it'll actually tilt with the controls. That's entirely up to you if you want to do that. But no, flying this thing around, come to a stop, moving left and right, is bloody slow because it's a giant hulking vessel. Anyway, pressing number 8, we're going to now align ourselves automatically. Now we can press number 1. There we go. And now we'll just cruise along towards our destination without needing to touch anything. But no, we're just going to keep flying around here. And well, that's basically it for this ship. Going to turn off that, raise up if I can, hopefully won't hit into any trees, tilting it around, very close to the ground. And well, like I was saying, that is that for this video. It's just a fantastic looking ship, fantastic thing to fly around in. I suppose what I could do is lift this up if I can. Press number 1 to actually move this all the way up, so we're moving at maximum speed. Pressing number 8, aligning ourselves, popping out of this. Now it's time to go all the way down, and well, hopefully we'll actually be nice and safe on our adventure. Now down here, got a door we can open up to go outside. To view what's going on, it's quite odd, looking at like so, not actually flying around and having the computer do it. No, we can come all the way down. Oh, there's actually an area up here. Did I miss this area out? So jetpacking all the way up, having a look around here. What did they actually miss out? Not too much, it's just the atmospheric thrusters up there. And around in this section, there we are. So I suppose you could decorate that with a few bits and pieces if you want to have a sneaky little area to yourself. And that certainly felt good. We're now wobbling around. I'm sure everything is fine. Drop it down here. And well, let's go visit the passenger area to see exactly what's going on. So across in this section, I can feel the frame rate dropping. So we'll probably crash into something. And it looks like we have come to a stop. So hopefully we have reached the destination automatically. And well, nothing too bad has happened. Looking around here, we are very close to the ground. We are scraping along here. And oh god, I've actually lost the front of the ship. But no, that'll do for this video. It's just a fantastic little ship to use in your world if you do want to have a gigantic aircraft from Thunderbirds to use in your world. So as always, there'll be a link to the description below to which you download and play around yourself. Highly recommend you do. I'll be back with another video sometime soon. Bye bye.